What's up, everybody? It's Dylan with DS for Dyslexia back again here at the Defying All Odds show, and boy, do I have a treat for you. I've always learned that when I go out and do these connections and I meet these people, that I'm always meeting somebody who inspires me that I can work with, and I wanted to welcome him on the show. Anthony Raimo, thank you for coming.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you for having me, and this is an amazing opportunity.
I'm happy to have you. I'm happy you made it to Dallas.
Yeah, flew out here with you, make it happen, you know?
Absolutely.
That's what doers do. That's what movers do.
Yeah, could you give us a little background on who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I am a general contractor by trade. I have a general contracting business, and I also have a company that houses construction crews, traveling nurses, and traveling sports teams. That's me and my career. But me as a person is I'm a person of faith, I'm a person of leadership, I'm a person of community, and I do everything that I do with God at the center of it and with the intention of building strong and meaningful relationships.
It's amazing. How old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
Can I have a little background on your story?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. I mean, everybody has a crazy story, but I was born into a divorced family with mental, emotional, and physical abuse around me, with drug abuse and alcohol abuse around me. Finding my way throughout middle school and everything, you know, I was a normal kid, just went through the motions of life, took it as this is what my parents are and this is what I'm gonna be like almost. And as I got older into high school, I realized that my life can be more defined and dictated by the actions I take. Throughout high school, I dabbled in sports, I dabbled in many hobbies, and then one of those things that I ended up dabbling in too was selling drugs, because I fell into a mental depression and I fell into a fight or flight mode with my life at that time. So sold drugs junior, senior year of high school, ended up going into a outpatient rehab for about 2 months, 3 months when I was still a senior in high school. Fast forward and we are entering college. I dropped out of college after my first year because I was too busy partying, drinking, drugging, and I left that year with a 1.3 GPA, if I'm not mistaken. Fast forward to now, I had 3 failed businesses out of college and 2 successful now. You know, it took time to learn from my mistakes. It took time to navigate all of that, but we arrived.
That's amazing. What is the word resilience mean to you?
The word resilience, what it means to me is to face adversity, face a problem, and get back up regardless of it. You know, and I mean, as cliche as this sounds, we've all heard the saying, it's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and still get back up. And that is a little motto that I kind of repeat to myself constantly, because we always have a plan, we always have an ideal situation, and when things don't go to plan, you have to be willing to pivot, and you have to have the resilience to pivot and the resilience to know that this was a mistake, or where can I learn from, etc., to get yourself out of there.
It's amazing. I know that me and you connect on a lot of different levels. One level, understanding the power of networking. You have 2 successful businesses. You've opened up some media doors. What is the power of a network, and what does a network mean to you?
A network means to me community. When I first started, I realized, oh, the way I was networking wasn't going to benefit me, because I was more seeking how can I get value from these people rather than how can I give value to these people. So for me, networking has been crucial towards growing myself as an individual more so. And then from there, it's helped me develop my being and my mentality to push my businesses ahead. And it goes back to what I was saying before about community and building relationships. When you go out there and you network, you got to go out there and network with genuineness and authenticity and be the best version of yourself. A lot of the time people, they'll put on a facade, or they'll go into a room, maybe they're new in their business, and they'll pretend, oh, that they got this big business going on, and realistically it's just their ego talking, and it closes doors for them because people don't see the transparent side of you. They're not seeing, oh, he's actually at this stage of life, let me try and help him because he's at this stage of life. So what I started doing was being transparent about my story, about who I am, about what I grew up with, every connection I made in the rooms that I was entering, whether it was business related or just, you know, some opportunity to go to church and meet the people that I'm, you know, worshiping with. I'm heavily focused on just being my authentic self and being the best version of it to them. And I'll ask for things if I need help. And that is a big thing too when you're networking. Ask for help. A closed mouth never gets fed.
I love that. What would you say your biggest lesson is networking and building your businesses? Like, if you could tell, say, a 19-year-old kid who wants to be successful and be connected and have all these doors open, what would you tell him?
If I was speaking to almost the younger version of myself or someone in, my shoes now, I would tell them the biggest lesson I've learned is to get out of your comfort zone. So it wasn't comfortable for me to network, and I'm sure it's not for many of us. We all go through these, rooms, and it's very intimidating. Whether it's 10 people or whether it's 200 people, it can be intimidating. So with anything that I do in life, you just got to take that leap of faith. That fear that I had of taking that leap of faith to actually connect wholeheartedly with people and vulnerably with people, I had to get rid of that. My first 3 years, I learned the basics of networking, and it was during COVID, so it was kind of hard too. But after that, I joined this networking community. Shout out to Tony Peck, the Circle community. And from there, I've just developed great relationships. So go out in your community, meet people, connect with them as your genuine self.
I love that. I can also relate to that. I went through that. The first room you go into, you're like, I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And now here we are trying to shake as many hands as we can.
Yeah. How times change.
Absolutely. When did you start? What age were you, entrepreneurially speaking?
I was 20. I bought my first deal, I believe, at 20 or 21. It was, if I'm not mistaken, my first purchase of a property was at in 2021, but my first business started in like 2020.
If 2020 version of you could see today, what would he think?
It's funny you say that. I've been thinking about that recently. I think he would be proud. I think he would look at me and he'd say, you are accomplishing and have accomplished more than you probably could have thought of in that moment. And I think he'd be proud. I know I'm proud of myself at this point. I think my expectations when I was younger, I'm going to have this much amount of money, this much amount of, glory, this much amount of fame, watches, cars, whatever. It's like, it didn't come at the timing in which I thought it would come, but it came. So in hindsight, I think I'd be happy as a younger version of myself.
I love that. What do you do to stay present? Because it's something I struggle with. I really did struggle with it for a long time, and now modern day, I'm really present.
It's a hard thing. Everybody struggles with being present. You get overwhelmed. You get tossed around throughout life where you get so many distractions. What's happening outside? What's happening over there? Whatever. For me, the way I ground myself and the way I stay present is by, in all different aspects. If we're taking it in the context of business and we're taking it in the context of building relationships with people that matter, I stay present by actively listening, actively trying to understand what their needs are, what their concerns are. And then from there, how can I add the most value? And that's, for me, it's like, that's my grounding. But I ground myself mainly with faith. That's how I stay present. That's how I stay the most grounded, is through my faith and practicing my faith, which I fell away from for a long time. I hated my religion and I hated God at one point, but totality, it's faith.
It's amazing. I've learned a lot from you. We get on these phone calls a lot, and I learn a lot from you every time that we speak, and I'm always inspired by you and your business acumen and your drive, business speaking.
Thank you.
I wanted to give you your flowers on that and say I'm proud of your growth and see how you're showing up.
Thank you, bro.
And that to remind you, you deserve the doors that are being opened for you. I know I reiterate that.
Thank you.
But out of curiosity, what have you learned from me?
Yeah, so I was going to give you your flowers too, so I'm glad you're bringing yourself up. I've learned from you, one of the biggest takeaways I've learned from you is basically the ability, it goes back to what I was saying, but I see it very presently with you, is that you are genuine. And because you're genuine, you're not just a hard worker. Everybody can work hard, and everybody, there's people who are richer than us and more successful than us, but that doesn't get them the recognition that everybody, that you get or that you're looking to get. And your ability to be genuine and build relationships regardless of your age is a big takeaway for me, because it goes into exactly what we're doing, networking and building relationships to grow our career. But nobody's going to want to help you if you're not genuine. Nobody's going to want to help you if they don't like you, if they don't trust you. And you exemplify what I'm speaking about because of the level in which you're doing it at. You know, you get into these rooms, just got interviewed by Amber Lee, you know, David Meltzer, you know, Jeff, like all these amazing people that you obviously had to do your own internal work for. And it's funny because this is why we relate so much. We're both Capricorns, both born in January. You tell your story, I have so much relating to that. It's resilience. We're both resilient people. So I got to give my flowers to you, bro, for accomplishing what you've accomplished at your age. We're the same age, working at a hedge fund, you're public speaking in front of crowds. I admire you because I'm learning from you on how to be a better public speaker, how to be a better person to other people. You are a genuine person. You give when you shouldn't give, and it gets you further because you do it without wanting anything in return.
I appreciate that. That's amazing. I would love for you to talk about your business itself and what you're doing, and also I'd love for you to go into detail on where you see yourself in the next 5 years.
Okay, so my business is, if anybody needs any renovation work, any type, from simple painting, flooring, molding, replace, things like that, to as big as a new construction build, you can reach out to me. My Instas will be here, socials will be here. But if you need help with that, that's what I can help you with when it comes to my general contracting business. In regards to that, I started it 2 years ago in the midst of my other business, which I'll get into, starting to pick up pace and starting to become successful. I was able to leverage myself up a little bit and get to the point of, you know, doing a successful amount now. I've scaled my business, and at this point, it's been a journey of, you know, lessons learned from the failed businesses that I'm applying to these two businesses that I have. And it's been nothing but fun. You know, I pause because I see such clarity from where I was to where I'm at now. And I would have never thought I would be able to grow my business the way I did. I had a lot of doubt in myself and people doubting me as well. So proud of that. And then, yeah, my other business is Trident Corporate Housing. And that is like I mentioned before, a housing business. We house traveling nurses, traveling workers, traveling professionals, traveling sports crews, 30-day plus rentals, and fully furnished, utilities, amenities included, private spaces, private kitchens, bedrooms, etc. We're basically trying to make it a home away from home. You know, when people travel for work, they are so exhausted by the monotonous loop of having to buy food. You know, they're paying for hotels that really aren't quality. They're expensive. To travel out of state, stay in these hotels, you could stay at a Motel 6 and you'd be spending the same amount that you'd spend with us on a full home, like a house. Right. And that's where our competitiveness and, you know, our opportunity for value add comes in, where we are very comparable when it comes to Airbnb. We are very comparable when it comes to motels and hotels and price, because at the end of the day, you gotta still dictate a certain price for the quality service that we're providing. But the difference is the individuality. You know, you have your own home. If you have a crew of 4 guys, you get a 4-bedroom, you could have a room each. You have a crew of 8 guys, you could have 2 guys in each room. You have your shared common area, obviously, being the kitchen, the living room, et cetera, but it's a home. You could start to live like a normal person again and cook for yourself and clean for yourself and provide for yourself while you're there for an extended period. You're not only saving money on, you know, if a business is paying for it, and that's most of what we deal with, we're B2B. If your company's paying for it, they don't want you or themselves to be paying extra thousands and thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on food, on this, that, and the next. We get you within driving distance of the property that you're trying to be at, the job site, and then from there, you know, you just stay, you live. So, and it's been cool. But, you know, both my businesses are doing great. My construction business is great. If you guys need anything in New York, Florida, Connecticut, New Jersey, you just hit me up and I'll be able to help you. And if you guys ever need any housing, you just hit me up as well.
That's awesome. What are your goals and where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So my goals for the next 5 years is to expand my reach, which is what we're doing now currently, you know, working with you and many other people to expand my reach so that I can lead people. I'm gonna grow businesses, I'm gonna scale businesses. Definitely you and we're starting our car rental business down in Miami very soon, and we're going to be buying investment properties together very soon as well. But outside of the monetary stuff, outside of like the businesses and things like that, my goal is to impact people. My goal is to lead people and tell my story so that others can be inspired to actually take action on their lives. And a big saying I say is it's not about where you come from, it's about where you're going or where you get. So I was born into what I was born into. I have family who has the mindset that they have, the addictions and the problems that they have. But I've learned that it's not about what they say, do, or act, it's you. So, you know, within the next couple of years, I hope to scale myself in the aspect of becoming almost an influencer so that I could get the mass reach and following so that I could impact people. Not for monetary, I don't care about coaching people. Eventually, maybe, yes. You know, I want to actually provide value in actionable steps, but right now it's just sharing a relatable story and hoping to dig people out of their own hole, you know?
Where does that drive to want to help people come from?
Not being helped myself, not having anybody around me to help me. You know, I had to learn what I learned on my own, and then as I got later into life, like, I have mentors in the sense that I have peers in my community that are older than me, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years older than me, and I take life lessons from them. You know, obviously my own experiences, that's where wisdom comes in, but wisdom also comes in from learned life lessons from other people. You don't necessarily have to make that mistake to have, you know, learn a lesson from it. You learn it from other people, but through that culmination of my own mistakes and everything, and you know, I want to be that for people. So I don't want people to feel like they're alone. I don't want them to feel like they're suffering alone. When I was 19 and I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do with myself, I wish someone told me, besides my parents and my brother and my parents and my brother and my family members, that there is more to life, because they were the ones pushing me down. They were the ones like, stay in school, go do this, go get a regular job, go work this. And I was working 3 jobs at one point. But I want to be that voice for people. I want people to know that they're not alone.
I admire that, and I definitely resonate with that. As you know, I love helping people, and I'm very passionate about it. I want to help you on this next 5 years. Before we leave, is there any questions that you had for me?
Absolutely. So tell me more about your story. Like, obviously, we've talked, you've explained to me snippets of your life, but I think the audience would love to hear, you know, who is Dylan Smith at the core? You know, besides the dyslexic, you know, besides the public speaker, besides, you know, all of this, who are you as an individual?
Dylan Smith is somebody who cares to help people, and that's his passion. I think the word that I really will give is impact and inspire. I think that this year has taught me that you are enough in so many ways. And the biggest things that make me happy is helping people like yourself and John and friends and seeing you guys level up. But I think my highlight this year is I've indirectly impacted my family, where my grandfather, my mom, my father, and my siblings have been having people come up to them saying, hey, I read your brother's book, or hey, I saw your brother on the show, and they're getting positive feedback, which is indirectly inspiring and impacting my family, and I couldn't be more grateful. I'm really grateful for the people who believe in me. Dylan Smith is a kid who cares. He's a kid who cares, and somebody always asked me, what's the hardest thing you ever did, and it was care.
I like that. I want to say something to that too. You're a man who cares because you are nurturing and you are healing that kid in you that couldn't be cared for. And I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people. You're
Absolutely.
a man that cares because you couldn't be cared for.
Absolutely.
So you want to show other people how you can help them and that you do care.
Yeah, there are 2 people in the world, ones that are hurt so they hurt others, and ones who are hurt so they help others.
Exactly.
And I love helping people. I mean, if I could do it forever, I'm going to.
And it's so funny though, because you and I are so similar. Everything we're saying is just a different version of saying what, you know, each other are saying. But it's funny, and it's like, to some people they'll be like, oh, sounds a little cliche, sounds a little repetitive. It will be repetitive. The more people you listen to, the more entrepreneurs you listen to, you'll realize we're all the same, not as entrepreneurs, but as people. We've been through similar experiences. We've been through life. So what we're trying to say here is that the lessons we've learned, it's not just me, it's not just you, it's everybody. So if you follow these steps, right, if you follow a certain path, you too can end up like this. It's not just a one-off.
Right.
You know, you've dealt with, who's dealt with drug addiction, who's dealt with abuse, who's dealt with, you know, loss and death in their family, so on and so forth. Like, everybody experiences those things. So I just find that funny because we're saying the same stuff, and it's just gonna always be that. Everybody's story I hear, it's very, very similar. So.
I appreciate that. What is one thing you can leave our audience with? And I'm going to put a lot of pressure on you. When I asked my father when I left at 18, what piece of advice can you give me that I can carry the rest of my life? He said, show up no matter what. What is one piece of advice you can send our audience that they can carry for the rest of their life?
Do it scared. Do it regardless of if you have noise in the background telling you otherwise. So that's the short little tip of advice. Everybody's going to be scared. You're going to always be scared. It doesn't matter what point of success you're at. It doesn't matter what point of, you know, healing you're at. Fear is an emotion. It's an emotion that's meant to be felt, and it's an emotion that is meant to be let go of as well. And you let go of it by taking control of it and taking that action on the thing that's making you fearful.
You are wise beyond your years, and I'm excited to witness the rest of your journey and honored to be a part of it. Thank you for coming to Dallas.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for coming to Vegas last week. Thank you for all the stuff that we're working on the back end.
Absolutely. We're here to grow
This is Dylan
together.
Smith on the Defying Odds Show with Anthony Raimo, and I wanted to leave you with "You Are Enough, Do Not Forget It." And where can we find Anthony before we leave him?
You can find me on social media, anthony.raimo, R-A-I-M-O. And then you can find all my business pages, my LinkedIn from there. DM me if you have any questions, concerns, you want some advice, or if you're looking for any work, you know, renovation work or housing for your crew.
Amazing. This is Dylan Smith and Anthony Raimo. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it, and we are signing off. Peace.